How y'all doing? I'm Paul Ryan, your host of the Across the Cowboys podcast. If you're new to the show, thank you for joining us. And to our regular listeners, welcome back. With me, as always, is my co-host, the grumpiest co-host in the world, Mike The Pig Crum. Mike, how are you?
Sad. You wait all year for football and you try to tell yourself that like, oh, this and that, and explain yourself away. And you kind of looked at the team like, well, maybe Dak could just do it. And then, man, you just realize that there's a lot of bad going on in that organization. And that GM is bad. Like, he's just bad. We have a very bad GM, and it makes it very hard to win when your GM is that bad. They don't do everything bad. They do some good things. They hit on draft picks. They hit on some low, Drunkhurst, great. Getting Nolan out of there and bringing in Dan Quinn, good move. Like, they're not everything they touch goes bad, but they're like they just never feel like they do enough. Like they're just bad. They just, him and Jerry just overall, if you look at the team that they put together this year and they're sitting on 20 million, in cap or somewhere in that area now, it's just bad. It's really inexcusable. It's bad. Like Noah Brown and Dennis Houston were your wide receiver 2 and 3. And we try to tell ourselves as fans, like, well, Dak, Kellen Moore will scheme away and Dak would just, make it happen. And I was watching Aaron Rodgers earlier that day, and I was like, man, this is terrifying because they had lost wide receivers and didn't really, they did more than us to replace them, but they didn't do much. Like Sammy Watkins is a vet. He's better than James Washington career-wise, but he's not great. And then they spent a really early second-round pick on a wide receiver who got open. He dropped the ball, nerves, that happens. But they did more than we did, and they looked putrid. And that's one of the few quarterbacks that you could easily go, oh, yeah, that one's better than Dak. And he was struggling with holes in the O-line and holes in the wide receiver core. So I started to get like, oh man, that's nervous. That makes me nervous. And just, it was bad. It was a lot of bad.
It's funny that you mentioned that, Mike, because I was taking my walk earlier today and I was just thinking about the game and thinking about Dak and stuff. And it's like, I was starting to feel almost kind of like stupid because I had convinced myself that Dak is so good that he can make, the group of receivers that we have look better than what they are. Like you mentioned Dennis Houston and James Washington and those guys. And yeah, he can overcome a new left tackle and a new left guard. He can overcome all these things because we've seen him play at a level where an MVP type level, and it just kind of, I don't want to say tricked us. I don't feel like that's the right word, but it led us to believe that, like, Dak can elevate players around him. And, when you see what happened on Sunday, you realize that I don't even think, Aaron Rodgers, like you were saying, could do what we thought Dak was going to be able to do this year.
Yeah, and he couldn't game one. Now, I'm not saying Gallup comes in, Peters comes back, this and that, but
yeah,
down the road and then the young team getting, that's all possible. But to throw that team out there and like, okay, let's hope we survive enough and hope this other stuff happens. Hope is not a strategy to win games, And I hear everybody like, well, maybe people won't like the Rams way because they lost to the Bills. They got blown. I'm like, yeah, they're coming off a Super Bowl. Like, it's different.
And Matt Stafford hadn't thrown for like 12 weeks at one point in the offseason, dude.
Yeah, it's different. Like, they'll be fine. The thing about the Rams is they did enough to where they'll be fine and they'll be competitive. They brought in they lost guys, but they brought in Allen Robinson. They made moves. Bobby Wagner. They made moves to improve their team with known players that could play the game. That like,
Yeah.
okay, well, if they fall off, then it's like, oh, okay, you know, Bobby Wagner was great last year. We can say, oh, he's this old. Okay, well, how'd he play? You know, he played pretty damn well. He's very good versus the run. He's not great versus the pass, but he's really good versus the run. We know what they brought him in for. You know, that was one of their lower areas, is they were able to be run on up the middle, so they were trying to shore that up. You know, Tampa Bay, all those offensive line losses, just like us. Gronk lost. AB
Antonio
lost.
Brown,
They went out. They went out and got him. Julio went out and got him. Russell Gage. Like they basically said, okay, we know your offensive line's compromised, but you're going to have a mismatch somewhere. We loaded you up, spread people out, get the ball out. We'll counter your offensive line. Dallas like, nah, Dak, just take care of it. And then they throw him to the wolves. Like you legit had so many people online going, well, here we go. You know, Dak had a terrible game. He was terrible. I'm not excusing it.
No excuses, yeah.
But the fact that people's first story was, see, Dak's just not that good. When I have evidence of Aaron Rodgers having the same issue, and we know what Aaron Rodgers is, two-time MVP, last 2 years, instead of the people going, damn, y'all just left this guy out to dry. Like, if you do anything offensively, your defensive special teams looks pretty good, but you left them for dead, and now you took your risk. You failed. Your risk failed, and it's 27th year of this GM doing that.
And what's funny is our defense, even, you know, you look at the score, it's like our defense had a good game, but when you look at the stats, I mean, we were terrible against the run.
Yeah, I know, but it was more a factor of the offense. Like the offense, you're going to wear down eventually. Stop. Yeah, you can't stop Tom Brady, you know, that many times. You know, our defense, the idea, I'm sure, for Dan Quinn is 20-20, they may go a little bit on us, but if we get third downs or we get in red zones, we're going to play good on third down and in red zone, and that's good enough to win in 2022's defense. True, but not if your offense is inept.
Yeah. I think another thing we thought is that Dak was so good that we thought that he had reached, you know, elite status, and that he was the Cowboys, because of how good their defense was, is they had reached elite status. But what we saw is that our team is good enough to beat like the Commanders, the Giants, the Bears, probably the Lions, teams like that. But, you know, we didn't really stand a chance against the Buccaneers, the Bills, Rams, guys like that.
Yeah, I agree. We're not competitive in that realm. Maybe we would have been by the end of the year with the young roster building up, but now we're not going to get that chance because they didn't, you know, do what they needed to do to make sure that our quarterback was protected.
Yeah, well, Mike, you know, year 3 of this podcast is not starting off the way we had hoped. But, you know, before we get into our discussion tonight, remind the people where they can find you on Twitter.
If you want to find me all depressed and making you sad, if I'm ever able to get on, at CD Piglet. Nice.
Guys, I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. Mike, I'm curious. I know you're a big jersey guy. What jersey did you wear for the game?
White Parsons. I wore the White Parsons. I have navy blue Lamb, White Parsons, alternative Diggs. And I went with the White Parsons, and he played really well. We didn't play well as a team, though.
What's funny, Mike, is I rarely ever wear my jerseys. I have two. I have an Ezekiel Elliott, the road jersey, and the Dak Prescott road jersey, the Blue Boys. And I rarely ever wear them just for whatever reason. Like, I guess because I've had a string of bad luck when I wear them, like they lose or something bad happens. I decided to wear my Dak Prescott jersey Sunday night. What happens?
You got injured, and we look really, really bad.
Yeah, so I don't know if I'll ever wear a jersey for a game again.
Well, leading into your next day, I won't wear one until Dak's back. I'm not going to put one on. I don't know if they could be competitive without Dak Prescott, to be honest. Their offense
not only
is bad.
You won't wear the Parsons jersey, but you won't wear a jersey for the remainder of the year. Not until Dak Prescott comes back.
At least minimum till Dak comes back.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure I'll ever wear a jersey again, Mike, seriously. Just because I feel like Every time, seriously, every time I've worn a jersey, we've either lost or something bad has happened.
Yeah, just who cares? The season's over already.
Here we are. Mike, is the season over?
You answer that, Paul. I'm just gonna hide.
Okay, Dak's expected to miss 6 to 8 games. I'm
Or
assuming he's going to miss 8.
if you ask our front office. So
Yeah,
our front
let's be
office will get
serious.
a suspension of a player and be like, I don't know, we might get him back in 4 games instead of 6. It's a suspension. They're all, let's see what happens. They're trying to save face.
Yeah.
To be clear, they know most of us are out. We know this season's over, and they're about their money. So they need to try to keep season ticket sales and jerseys and excitement and the media and everything. So they're like, hey, it could be just 4 weeks. It's not. It's going to be 6 minimum, 8, all the way up to 8. And don't be surprised if it goes 6, 7, 8, full 6, 7, 8 games.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bone in his thumb in his throwing hand. So it's going to be a minimum of 6 games, but God, even up to that point, it's like you obviously don't want to rush him back. How much work is he going to be getting in? He's obviously not practicing or anything. So if I feel like the safe answer is even 8 games.
Yeah, their 4 games is BS. It's going to be 6 to 8.
So you know, Mike, we were kind of touching on it there, but even with Dak, I mean, what could we have expected from this season?
He gave us hope because the idea is a good defense, a good special teams unit, and Dak beats up on the bad teams, maybe steals you a game or 2 against the good ones. Mm-hmm. You win the division, you get in the playoffs, and maybe throughout the year, the young defense builds and goes from good to great. The offensive line goes from bad to average. The wide receiving core goes from bad to average. And you're able to then maybe in the playoffs make a run if the team is doing better. But that has gone by the wayside, unfortunately.
You know, we're going to go off the show sheet here, Mike, but what were your thoughts on Jalen Tolbert not playing? And, you know, what were your thoughts on Matt Farniok's performance? I know we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but just those 2 things, I'm curious.
So Dak has a lot of say in who he wants, and he should. I think he was more comfortable with Dennis Houston. And with those players going, there's no way for Tolbert. There's no real reason for Tolbert to get in there. You know, Tolbert's going to come in and do what? You know, they had their set guys that they wanted to play. So leave Tolbert inactive. He doesn't have Dak's trust quite yet.
But see, that's what's strange to me. I didn't realize that would be the case because you hear it all offseason how they had a real connection.
That him and Houston really had more of one than Tolbert. Tolbert was, the word from Tolbert was always inconsistent. He would be fine, then he'd be good. Then he'd be okay, then he'd be bad. And, you know, he was inconsistent, where Dennis Houston didn't make a lot of plays, but they always, what you heard was, lines up at the right spot, gets open, is where he needs to be. So it's that little of a thing when your wide receiver core is as bad as it is. Could be a difference. Excuse me, guys. I will attempt not to fall asleep on the podcast, Paul. I have been working as you know, I've been working my tail off, which is why we couldn't do anything yesterday. Yeah. And I was supposed to have today off, got called in for a catering order. I got a catering order tomorrow. So, you know, just forgive me if all of a sudden
the grind never stops for the pig, does it?
Yeah, and then I got the article out that night, and KD had to get on me. I threw some anger into the article that he had to edit out that was kind of unnecessary to a 3 stars article. And he let me know. He was like, hey, man, I get it, but this isn't part of that. If you want to do that article, do that article now that this is done. But you need to, you know, this is about 3 stars. Make it about 3 stars. Yeah. And I was like, you're right. Yep, you're absolutely right.
So, you know, Mike, we were kind of talking about how many games you think Dak's going to miss, but let's assume he misses the full 8. How many games do you think we'll win with Cooper Rush?
I think that, and maybe you steal one where the defense is really crazy. 2 tops. I don't see them winning. But the Giants that everybody is going to make out to be an easy win just beat Tennessee. The Commanders have a really good defense, and if Carson Wentz isn't throwing stuff away, they're going to be hard to beat. Bears just beat the 49ers. So, I mean, they're going to be no cakewalk. I'm trying to think who else. Eagles, obviously, their roster is loaded, and now they have the better quarterback as of right now. So they're a W against us. So I just don't see many wins over the next 8 weeks.
I had us winning the Giants game and the Bears game. I felt like we could steal one from the Bears.
Yeah, they're both very possible. They just, with Dak, it kind of is like, hey, we should win this one. And now it's like, man, I hope we can win this one.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see Cooper Rush for 8 games, man.
It will not. I disagree. It will not be interesting to see at all. This is a disagreement between us here. I don't want to see Cooper Rush for 1 game, let alone 8 games. And I don't even mean with Dak. I would just rather throw out Will Grier. And I feel like he's more mobile. He's more gunslinger. Cooper Rush, as it's been said from the preseason a million times already on all the other Cowboys shows, when they had that offsides and the Simi Fihoko, I think it was, just beat the guy and was running deep, and it's literally a free play. You just throw it up. You got the offsides, and he checks it down anyway to the underneath guy. You're like, yep, that's Cooper Rush.
Oh gosh, yeah, I don't remember that. Thankfully, that sounds terrible. I guess you're not thinking that he can catch lightning in a bottle at least one more time, like he did against the Vikings, huh?
No, maybe 1 game of the 8, but I don't think they're going to do much.
With Dak being out, Mike, who has the most to prove? Is it maybe what coach or player?
Kellen Moore, it's got to be, right? I mean,
yeah, that's my answer as well.
Yeah. Well, go expand then.
Well, no, actually, I say that, but let me double check my notes here. You give your thoughts there, and I'm going to double check mine because I think actually I might have switched it.
Well, the teams. Devin White was like, we already know what they want to do. So obviously, we're not doing much year to year to like expand the offense.
Right.
The second half of the year, teams were able to shut us down. Now the first game of this year. Before Dak went out, they were shutting us down. They know we're not committal to the run, no matter how much we talk, and we don't like to go deep. We're more of a short passing game, and teams can sniffle take that away.
Yeah, I actually did have Kellen Moore, but now that I think about it, I know that Brian Broaddus says that he doesn't really know how much this guy loves football anymore. If after he leaves Dallas, if he'll even be a coach anymore. But Mike McCarthy, I feel like, what has he shown these 3 years? Again, I just said that he might not even care about coaching, but I'm interested to see what the team does for him now that Dak's out again, and knowing that he was kind of been on the hot seat all offseason. Will this team quit on him?
So just so it's known, all of us understand that we know the real answer to this is Jerry Jones. But his kind of job is already passed. Like there's not a lot he can do now unless he's going to trade away a bunch of draft capital, which we don't really want either, especially now that our pick's likely to be higher. Yeah. So, we know the answers, Jerry. Everybody's sitting there going, yeah, we agree. It is the GM. It's been 27 years, but we're talking about this season now. What can we do with what we have? And for me, that's Kellen Moore. And then Mike McCarthy is another good one.
So, what we've seen after 4 years of it being injured, Mike, 2019, 2020, 2021, and now 2022, should Dallas make a backup quarterback a priority?
How about just depth a priority behind, not just quarterback, but like that's one of the things about going out and signing some vet free agents. If some of these kids are good and ready to play, good. You have depth. There's nothing wrong with that. It's good to have a position with 2-3 starting caliber players that you can play in. That's why everybody talks about how good the D-line is and the linebackers are and the safety group is. They believe in the depth of that team, and you can't believe in the depth of the quarterback position or the team on Dallas as an overall.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've had opportunities. There was that rumor that we had some interest in Malik Willis in this past draft, and I can't remember obviously every pick from the past draft classes, but I feel like there have been some times where we could have maybe signed a guy. I know that they've liked Cooper Rush for a while. I believe we did draft Ben DiNucci in 2020, but yeah, I would have to say that now that we're seeing Dak's injury history the last 4 years, that we should make the backup quarterback a priority. I don't know, like you were saying, I don't know if it has to be a veteran guy, but definitely somebody who could fill in for extended a period of time that we'd feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah, I agree. And don't give me the Mason Rudolphs. I heard somebody was saying that about a trade. I'm like, why give up? The guy couldn't do anything with Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Claypool in that group. Now he's going to come to us and elevate Dennis Houston? No thanks.
After 4 years of injury, Mike, is Dak now injury prone?
Yeah, to be fair. I mean, you got to be fair. Do I think it's an injury that's like they're freak injuries? I understand that.
Fluky.
Fluky. But when they happen all the time, I mean, let's be honest. Every time he gets hit, all of us are going to be like, oh, is he getting okay, he's good. So yeah, I'd say that answers the question just in that.
Brian brought us on For the Love of the Star podcast was saying that ever since Dak was kind of like getting leaner, slimmer to be faster, seems like that's when the injuries have started to pile on. Do you agree with that?
He is only really lean this year. He was still a big running boy the year he got his ankle took. So no, Brian Broaddus knows his stuff, but I never noticed him really lean until this year.
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, I thought he looked pretty good. He looked pretty lean last year as well, but yeah, he looked especially lean this year.
Yeah, like in super football shape lean was this year.
Yeah. So Mike, we know that our chances of winning the games moving forward are pretty slim, but who will you be watching in the games?
I want to see what youngsters take the next step. That's a big one for me. How's Mike obviously looks great. How's Osa going to look? How's Cox going to look? How's Diggs going to look? All those young guys playing. How's Tyler going to look by the end of the year? Get a look at that. And then the other is Philman, how he brings the O-line together. And, of course, Moore, can he fool anybody with his play calling?
Yeah, for me, I'm interested to see what the offensive line looks like. Again, I mentioned will the guys continue to keep playing for McCarthy or will this team quit? Tyler Smith, Farniok, and Steele. I mean, Steele was had a pretty bad game on Sunday night. So to see how will he progress or will he regress? And also CD Lamb, knowing that his guy Dak's not there, that their chances of winning are pretty slim. Like, will that get in his head? Will he still be finishing every route? Will he still be giving 100% on every play? I'm interested to see that because this was supposed to be a big year for him, and it still is. But it's a lot harder to evaluate him without Dak there. But I'd like to see how he handles this type of adversity. Knowing another year without his quarterback.
Yeah, and I totally agree. And then, it's just hard because they were so intent. They triple team Lamb, and then the other guys just are not going to beat great coverage one-on-one a lot. And then Schultz, you could see just like before, they're like, let him have the ball underneath. Let him get it. If he gets the ball underneath, that's fine. And he's not going to make dynamic plays. So the strategies defenses are going to do is if they want to run and toss the ball for 8 yards to Schultz, fine. What beyond that? And it's just so hard to watch that type of offense, like to take no shots deep, to know you don't have like a breakaway guy or like it seemed like every time they handed it was like 3 regular handoffs to Pollard. They always try to do something crazy. And I'm like, just hand on the ball. Guy's an efficient running back. But Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of changes at the end of this year, coaching wise, especially. I'm interested to see what they do with Ezekiel Elliott too. So it's still going to be, I got to watch every week because I'm writing for them. So I'm going to be there with y'all, but it's rough.
Yeah. So, Mike, has the time come now, this early in the season, to start evaluating college prospects?
Not yet, but it's only because I'd be so depressed doing it that I'm like, I can't, dude. You at least got to let me get to December. I'm like, I want to watch some football. It's week friggin' 1, man. I hate it so much.
What, with Cooper Rush at the helm, I mean, how will you evaluate this team moving forward? Are you just going to be looking at the defense, or what are you going to be kind of watching for to see, okay, this guy is probably replaceable now?
Well, O-line's going to be a big thing because Biotish looked good, Smith looked good, Farniak and Steele struggled. So you want to find out, can Farniak be your guy going forward? Can he factor into the starting lineup next year? Is Steele a guy you want to keep there, or do you want to switch him out? So it stinks, man. I hate that it's like week 1.
Yeah.
How shitty.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's really, really bad. At least in 2020, we had some shootouts. We saw kind of what Dak was turning into, and now we don't even get that.
I know it's terrible, man. I wish him a speedy recovery.
So, let's just say, Mike, let's have a little fun. Let's say what position, it's draft week and you get to make the pick. What position would you draft with Dallas's first round pick?
I don't draft by position, sir. I draft best player available at a position of need. I'm not looking for a quarterback because not early, not first round, because I still think Dak's the guy. I'm looking for a veteran backup or a young guy, later that I think I could develop into a good quarterback. But I don't need a starting quarterback, and I'm definitely not drafting running back first round. So if everything's equal, we have one guy at each position that is absolutely evenly graded. I would probably look towards pass catcher, then offensive tackle, then cornerback.
Yeah, for me, I went with a wide receiver, just an alpha type, and not necessarily just because I think we need to replace CeeDee Lamb, but I want a guy who's got that dog in him, a term that's being used a lot this offseason under this season, but somebody who's a vocal, like, the Dez, the passionate guy, the guy that can take over a game. I want that guy. I mean, it would have been nice if you look at George Pickens, man. Had we hadn't gotten him, I think he's that guy.
Yeah, I think he is. I think there's the good thing for us, though, and we're about to get into it, is Tyler Smith looked pretty damn good. So
yeah,
it's going to be another first-round pick, maybe like a Frederick, where everybody was like, damn, dude, I mean, I don't mind the player. We're not going to kill the player, but right there you drafted him. And then it ended up being, okay, yeah, this was a really good pick. So I think that might be what Tyler Smith's future is.
So do you probably still think, though, that even after him playing tackle and looking pretty good, you still want him at guard, though?
Yeah, I mean, ideally for me, well, now, honestly, now you might want to get Steele out of there. I mean, Steele was so bad, and let Farniak run left guard and just go with Biotish looked good. Tyler Smith looked good. Farniak was bad, but we're going young. You have Zach and then Justin Peters on the right side if you think he could play it to improve from the horrendousness that was Terrence Steele.
Man, can you imagine just a world where Steele regresses, we have to part with him, and then Zach Martin decides to retire?
Oh, God. Why would you even bring up the R word with Zach Martin?
I feel like it's a possibility, dude. I mean, we saw it with Frederick, and this team doesn't look that much better than when he decided to do it.
I think Martin will play another 2-3 years, but it is coming close. But next year, almost a whole defense minus Anthony Barr is returning. Dak, knock on wood, should be healthy. We might be able to get out of some money with Zeke and tank contracts. So it might be a situation where maybe they can get a guy or two, like a receiver and an O-lineman, and retool and go at it.
Yes, sir. No worries. Mike, here we are with your first edition of your views from the sidelines. And this week, we're going to talk about what did you learn about the O-line this week? Or what did you see from the offensive line?
Sidelines. The sidelines are the worst. All sad, all depressed over here. I suffer from depression. So does my family. I don't take that lightly, guys. It's just something you say, you know. I'm old. We have our sayings, and sometimes we don't think politically correct. So I apologize. From the sidelines, Tyler looked good. Go to John Owing. If you're watching us, you got to know John Owing. Also, Voice of the Star retweeted John Owing's tweet where Tyler Smith slips and still stones Vita Vea. I mean, just whoop, no, bro, you ain't coming through me. You went to the wrong guy for a power move and just eats him up after slipping. He's powerful. He's got good hands when they hit right. He's going to be a very good lineman. He needs to work on getting out of his stance faster, but he's going to be really good. For all the talk that I heard, especially from Massey, he's going to get mad at me right now because, you know, there's no way he can know. It's like the backup quarterback thing. Everybody thinks, well, this guy's not great. Let's go with the backup quarterback because at least we don't know. Biotish, everybody knew he's an average lineman at best. He just did. His best game was yesterday, and he was an average lineman, which is fine. You could have average linemen. But for the people that thought Farniok was ready, no, Farniok was very, very bad. Now, throw him out there. No Dak. Let him get the snaps because he's very powerful. Him and Steele, bad pass protectors, good run blockers. So use them to their strength. Try to run. I hate it. It's 90s football. You're not going to win a lot with it, but it's our chance. It's our best chance of winning week to week is run, hold the clock, hope the defense gets some turnovers.
You know, Mike, this is going to be a dumb question I'm going to ask anyway, but what's the difference in like the technique other than backpedaling when you're run blocking and pass protecting for an offensive lineman?
Well, yeah, one is getting set, setting your anchor, getting ready to like take on a hit, you know, getting position, getting your balance, getting your spot right. The other is going forward and laying into somebody and getting that leverage correctly, but it's kind of in the opposite way. So going forward and using your strength compared to waiting and taking on a hit and using your strength to hold up.
So you know, being balanced.
Key. Very key, especially in pass blocking. You know, that people are going to try the inside move, the outside move, the spin move. Running, it's kind of about your angles and your leverage. So, you know, that's why a lot of people have easier that Steele and Farniok played pretty well running the ball. We're horrible in pass protection.
And that's always been kind of Steele's weakness, though, right?
Yeah, Steele's just not very good. I mean, Brian Broaddus said it all offseason. Look, the left tackle is going to be all right. I think your worry is left guard, right tackle. And he's been shown out to be right. Although McGovern got injured, you know, that inside offensive line depth, that was it. So we need them playing, you know, and healthy because that's basically all we got.
Yeah. I mean, Brian Broaddus is more right than he is wrong. That's for sure.
Yeah, he is. That's why he's a Super Bowl winning scout.
Yes, sir. Now he's doing radio.
Yeah. Yep. Cowboys break, 105.3 The Fan, and Love of the Star podcast.
Hey, I'm so thankful that I've had the chance to listen to Brian Broaddus for like the last 5 years, and I'm glad that he had success in the NFL, but I'm glad that I can listen to him every day, man, and get smarter every day.
I'm just mad you haven't got him as a guest. What are you doing, man?
Hey, that's the goal, man. That's the goal.
That's Cam's. That's Cam's, dude. We can go. We got to talk to Cam about that because they have him on the podcast when she's on a lot. So yeah, that would be nice.
Oh, okay. Well, shout out to Cam. All right, Mike. Here we are with one word. Our first one word of the season. The Dallas Cowboys without Dak are blank.
Finito. Finished.
Yeah, I like that.
It's simple.
Me,
it doesn't need explanation.
I went pretty simple myself, Mike. Inadequate.
Yeah. They are. They're inadequate, and it's the fault of a bad GM. We have 27 years. We have multiple coaches. We have multiple players. I see that all the time. Well, the players don't do this, and the coaches don't. There's one constant: 27 years of failure. It's a bad GM.
Yeah. So, do you consider Steven to be the GM or Jerry?
Jerry, still. Steven will be worse. Steven's philosophy has impacted Jerry Jones, and that's where we are where we are. No risk, use the draft to fill holes, which is never a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just drafting best player and then supplementing your team with the other part of team building, free agency. So yeah, I mean, Stephen Jones is worse, but Jerry Jones is the GM still as of now.
But I wonder how many final decisions Jerry even gets to make these days.
I know they bring him in for stuff, but just like Randy Gregory, he got the deal done. Steven came in and it got messed up. I'm not blaming him. I'm saying it got messed up. Tank and Steven couldn't get things going. It gets took to Jerry. Jerry goes, yep, let's do it.
Yeah.
So Jerry's still in there a little bit, but I think Steven's the main now.
Because I mean, I don't know. I feel like if it was still Jerry, like making most of the decisions, that we would have seen a little bit more riskier moves.
What I mean by is that Steven now is his philosophy. Jerry Jones still makes the decisions, but I believe he's been influenced by Stephen Jones' philosophy.
That's fair. All right, Mike. Here we are with a little bit lighter subject. One of our favorite subjects, food, of course. And our top 5 topics tonight is going to be our favorite pizzas. Football and pizza are synonymous. And just for the guests out there, we're as far as these rankings go, where it can be a homemade pizza, store-bought, and/or from restaurants. We will discuss the type of crust, sauce, and toppings. So, Mike, start us off with number 5 on your list.
All right, so a couple of things. I didn't do any of mine because I've made a ton of pizzas, and I didn't want to try to rank them. So I just left mine out. I mean, I went on a kick for a while. If you go on my Instagram at CDPiglet, you can go through and see where it's just like 3 out of every 5 pictures is a different type of pizza that I did. Sloppy Joe and Thai chicken and just all kinds of stuff. So I avoided mine. I went all with going and getting them like a restaurant type. So, I hate pizza right now because I'm fat. I'm trying to lose weight and I associate it with football and I hate football right now. So this is going to be a tough top 5. I'm going to start off by honoring little Dennis. He's basically my nephew. That's my buddy. Anytime he comes over, he always double pepperoni, extra cheese for me and Ed's. He's picky. He's not one like me where can be a lot of stuff on there.
Yeah.
So that's his pizza, and I'm going to add it in because I honestly, without mine, I have trouble because I'm a pizza snob, so I only get very few. So that was one of them, and I like it. Me and Ed's double pepperoni extra cheese is good.
Do you like that charred pepperoni where it's kind of burnt and everything?
Yeah, charred up. Extra flavor. Char equals flavor. Burnt doesn't, but char does.
Double pepperoni, extra cheese, dude. That sounds pretty good. What kind of crust?
He gets the original me and Ed's one.
Okay.
I like the Victory. I call it the Victory Grill one, but it's like the New York style that you roll up. But they don't offer it at the one that delivers here. And so we just get the one, and it's good. I like it. I have a few pieces of it.
Is it New York style where like the really big slices and you fold them or what?
Yes. That's the kind I like, but you can't get that from the one that delivers here.
Okay.
But the one that I like, what I do is I take it and I roll it up like a pizza roll. Then I eat it like that.
Oh, really? I've never seen that style.
Yeah, well, it's like, any New York really thin, really big type. Mm-hmm. Instead of folding it, I roll it on itself. So every bite I get a piece of the crust. So it's texture. It's crunchy.
I like that. I'll have to try that sometime. All right, Mike, number 5 for me. I'm going store-bought here. And this is a pizza that my wife and we've enjoyed quite a bit, but it's Red Baron. It's going to be classic crust, and it's 4 cheese
Red.
pizza.
Red fucking Baron.
Hey,
Red
dude,
Baron.
for $4, dude, it can feed us both. And of all the frozen pizzas, it's probably better than it's just as good as DiGiorno when they're both fresh.
I don't
I don't
eat
like
either of them.
I don't really like frozen pizzas, but if I had to pick one, it's going to be Red Baron.
How did a frozen pizza make your top 5?
Well, I'm taking a quote from you, but it's you said pizza's like sex, even bad pizza's still good.
Man, that's can I take that back? I don't know if frozen
You never eat frozen pizza.
I used to. I don't anymore.
You mentioned your pizza stop. I'm not probably not as snobby as you, but I was just thinking about of like all the pizzas that I've eaten and of all the qualities. Seriously, Red Baron has at least been consistent.
I hate you. I hate
Why?
This. I hate it. Red Baron? Red Baron, the $4 friggin' frozen pizzas in your top 5?
Maybe it's a more sentimental thing because for like the first 6 months of our marriage, me and wifey were super broke. It was like Kraft mac and cheese, ramen noodles, and like splurge on Red Baron pizza, dude.
My that's what mine was. Me and Ed's double pepperoni extra cheese ain't a top 5 pizza for me. It's okay.
Yeah.
But but it was like, oh, that's what me and Denny get, so I'll put it in there.
Exactly.
So I get that, but I mean, at least mine was like, oh, me and Ed's double. Jesus, you put frozen pizza.
Hey, I guarantee if you put a Red Baron 4 cheese in your pizza oven, dude, and ate it fresh, you'd be like, wow, this is actually not bad. It's equivalent to Little Caesars.
I like Little Caesars.
And you like Little Caesars, right?
Hey, that weirds everyone out too because I'm so snobby about food, but I'll eat the shit out of Hell, I had Little Caesars twice this month. I like Little Caesars. I don't know what it is about that one, but man.
Did you have pizza on Sunday for week 1?
I made pizza and we barbecued, but I made homemade pizza. Yeah.
Dude, that Sloppy Joe pizza sounds phenomenal. I don't know what's on it, but man, it sounds so
on
good,
it's on my Insta, I'm pretty sure, but you gotta go looking through. But once you find the pizzas, there'll be a section where you'll see like 5 or 6 pizzas.
Yeah.
And you just click on it, and then I have some pretty good damn pizzas in there.
I know you don't like Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, I know you don't like frozen pizzas. You kind of despise frozen pizzas, clearly. But do y'all have a place called Papa Murphy's in California, like the take and bake?
It's coming up.
Oh, okay. See, now that's a discussion for a different day. But I don't see the big difference there. But Papa Murphy's is super clutch too.
Dude, Papa Murphy's is that's another level. Like I don't do much taking, but Papa Murphy's is. It's third for a reason. It probably should have been fourth.
Okay.
It probably should have been fourth. The fourth guy is better than the third. I'm not gonna lie, but
Gotcha.
I was trying to think of them at 5:30 when I was exhausted. And I was like, think about the stuff you eat. Don't put yours in because I knew I didn't have time to go through all mine and then pick my because I'd have just done all 5 mine. So that's not true. The top one I would have kept. Top 2. So the bottom 3 I would have done mine, but the top 2 I would have kept. They're my all-time favorites.
I got you. Okay, so Papa Murphy's making the list. I'm kind of surprised by that, Mike, considering how you made me feel about my Red Baron selection.
Red, and it's like, I've found some like $12 frozen pizzas that are like certain specific, like, and they use this and that and the other, and it's like they're more high quality. But Red Baron's like. Red Baron, Tombstone, and DiGiorno's is like you said it perfectly. You're running out of money. You got to do, and I get that. But my God, in your top 5, that's like, and I got to tell you, top 5 quarterback, Cooper Rush, man. Red Baron is the Cooper Rush of pizza. Mike said it here first.
That's gonna be, oh man, I'm gonna have to figure out to make an episode title out of that.
So much when we started talking about pizza, the whole podcast, I was fighting sleep, depressed, everything. Oh, okay, we're not talking about Dallas anymore. Oh, pizza? Okay, well, here we go, guys. Let's get some energy into this.
Right.
It's
A little
great.
shot in the arm here. All right, Mike. So
Yeah.
number 4 on my list, I'm going with this. There's a place called Parton's Pizza, and they only have one type of crust, but it's like a thin crust. Really, really good. But they have these are kind of toppings. This is like one of my specialty pizzas that I like to get when I order out. But I used it for Parton's Pizza because I feel like they're a lot better than your Pizza Huts and your Domino's and things like that. But it's thin crust pizza with white sauce, chicken,
White
tomato,
sauce.
and bacon.
Nice. I like that. I don't have a white sauce. I eat a lot of white sauce and a lot of pesto olive oil pizza, but I didn't have any make my top 5. Yeah, white sauce is good. Tomatoes and was it bacon?
Chicken, tomato, bacon, bro.
I like it. It's like a BLT kind of.
And they have one also where it's like their specialty pizza, but they use a ranch sauce, and it's ranch sauce with bacon and tomatoes. Really good, bro.
You know what might be good? Dress some arugula with lemon juice, salt, and pepper, and top it on that, and legit make it like a BLT just with the arugula instead of lettuce.
Yeah,
I bet you that would be fire. That sounds so good.
There was something. It's not actually a pizza, but it's focaccia bread. It's called a taverna focaccia. It's like my favorite thing in the world, dude.
Focaccia bread is.
But yeah, it would have a fresh arugula, pine nuts, fresh prosciutto, fresh parmesan, and mushrooms, dude. And then he dipped it in a spicy oil. Oh my god, bro!
That should have made it over Red Baron.
It's not a pizza though. I was gonna add it. That would have easily been number 1. Oh my god, bro.
Also,
it's like the best thing I've ever eaten.
Can I just say, also, I put no deep dish because deep dish is a pie. It is a pizza flavored pie. It's incredible. I absolutely love it. It's also not pizza. It's a pie.
Do y'all have a Uno's Pizzerias in Cali?
Doesn't sound familiar, no.
It's like it's a Chicago-based restaurant where they specialize in deep dish pizza.
Deep dish is fantastic. It's a pie. It's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a pizza flavored pie, and it's incredible, but it's not pizza.
Yeah, it has its place, but I love thin crust pizza just because I like the crunch, and I feel like it doesn't overpower the toppings.
I agree.
All right, Mike, what's number 4 on your list?
All right, I'm gonna do the flip on the fly and put the Papa Murphy Chicago stuffed pizza at 4 because the 4th one's better. I like that, and I know how to cook the pizza. So you go in there, they have very good crust, their toppings are quality, their sauce tastes good, they use cheese that they shred. If you ever, and this is one of the things that probably gets me about the frozen pizza, I can taste when you've gotten packaged greens that have been in like plastic or packaged pre-shredded cheeses. I can taste that the stuff they have to do to preserve it, and I do not like it, and it doesn't melt right, and I don't like the way it looks, and I'm a food snob. I'll be the first to admit it. And so I get block cheese and shred it. I do not buy already shredded cheese. I don't want that stuff on there that they have to put. So they do all that really well, and I cook it and get it. I let it go over. I like to over bake the take it home and bake from Papa Murphy's, so it gets kind of a crunch to it.
Yeah.
Instead of it being like you would from a regular pizza place.
Yeah. I really like just about every pizza I've ever had from there has been really good, but they've got one. It's like I don't know if it's the Mediterranean, but it's got the feta cheese and spinach and chicken or something. Man, they're all so good.
They are. This one particularly is it's basically a stuffed meat. It's like pepperoni, salami, Canadian bacon, and they put it a regular crust, and they put another crust on top of it. Yeah. And then they put sauce on the top of that, cheese, and then stuff like tomatoes, green onions, that make it look pretty. And then you have to bake it at a lower temp for extra time. And then it gets crunchy, and then all the toppings go everywhere. And you can even eat it with a knife and fork. And that is the one time I'll allow that with a pizza, because it's like a full, it's a lot. You don't want it spilling out everywhere.
Well, what are your thoughts on the stromboli or the calzone?
Love Love. I didn't put it under because they're kind of different. They're more breads than pizza. So, but give me them all day.
I used to go to this Freak with this Italian place, and I'd always get their meat lover calzone, stromboli, whatever you want to call it, with extra marinara sauce on the side, dude. But the meat eater one, like the meat lovers one, is so good.
Winco is a supermarket place down here, like a Food Max or a Food for Less. They offer calzones, and they have 3 different ones, and they're all good. But I like the Italian calzones, like pepperoni, sausage, olives, cheese. It's good. They serve a little red sauce dipping for it. It's yummy.
All right, Mike, I'm starting to get hungry. What's number 3 on your list?
3 is Mountain Mike's Pikes Peak. Very expensive. It's like $30 for a pizza. I can't go there often, but it's quality. There's a reason it is what it is. They put a lot of toppings on there. Pikes Peak is basically meat lovers. I like to switch out the Canadian bacon or ham for regular bacon. That's what I like to do, but it don't matter either way. It's friggin' fantastic. Sausage and linguiça and pepperoni and salami, and it's really, really a fantastic pizza. It's just 2 pizzas, some wings, and a 2 liters, like $70 to $90, depending on what pizzas you're getting.
Good God. How many people can eat off that, though?
1, 2, 3, 4. We get about 5, 6.
Oh, okay. So about 10 to 12 people ahead. That's fair. Okay, Mike, number 3 on my list. You're going to hate this one as well, but I grew up eating this. It makes me think of my Nana and especially my mom. Shout out, Mom. If I know you're not listening, but I love you anyway. I'm going Pizza Hut. Thin crust, supreme, extra sauce, marinara, extra crispy, Mike.
So some cardboard with sauce and cheese on it. Nice.
You know what's funny, though, Mike? It's where I work. There's I was making pizzas. Now I'm frying up food, but we actually, we get the pizza crust out of a cardboard box. And I put the sauce and the cheese and everything, and you taste it, and it's just like, it really does taste like cardboard, dude. It's crazy.
It's just cardboard.
So bad.
I hate that you have Red Baron and Pizza in your top 5. We may not get anything else, dude. I'm gonna make you go to when you come out here. I'm not cooking for you anymore. I'm gonna make you go to these top 2 places or the first thing, and then we'll go from there. Because I have got to get Red Baron and Pizza Hut off here. And Pizza Hut's 3rd. The white sauce one that sounds amazing was worse than Pizza Hut.
Well, but again, Mike, I think it's because of how often I ate this growing up, and more kind of like the sentimental, like the memories associated with them, I think. But again, I mean, I do love supreme pizza, and I do love thin crust. It doesn't have to be Pizza Hut.
Your top 5 pizza is worse feeling than Dak getting injured. Like, this is terrible.
Strong words.
And I mean the 2020 injury.
Oh, Lord. Jeez. Mike truly is a pizza snob. Okay, we're at number 2 for me, correct?
Yes, number 2. This is the one where this is the dumpster one, right? Like you dive in the dumpster of your neighbor and pull some pizza out of there. It's like, it's the only time I could afford a pizza that wasn't frozen or Pizza Hut. It was pretty good for out of somebody's trash can.
All right, Mike, whenever you come to Texas, I'd like to see how you feel about this pizza, because this place it's not a mom and pop's place. It's not like traditional Italian, but it's like 4 or 5 tiers above like a Pizza Hut, a Domino's, places like that. It's called Mama's Pizza. And they have like not necessarily a thin crust. Like the main part of the crust is somewhat thin, but then like the end of the crust is like really, really big. It's weird. I don't know how they get their dough like that, and they have spectacular sauce. But the pizza I like to get from there, it's I refer to it as thick crust, but it's beef, mushroom, and diced green peppers. And I don't know what it is, but like I prefer the diced green peppers as opposed to the slice like you would get on a supreme pizza For whatever reason, it just I like the taste and the texture more than a slice.
Is there more than one of those places in your city? Is there more than one of them?
Oh no, there's one in Arlington, 2 here in Fort Worth.
Okay, and is there a lot in Texas? Is there like
No.
throughout Texas? Is there 25 of them?
No, I don't believe so. No, sir.
Okay, all right. I'm down. We can go there. If I go to Texas, I want to go there and try the definitely over 5 and 3. I want to go there. I'll buy.
So I'm curious, Mike. What are your thoughts on pizza buffets? Like, I mean, do you think that a place that has a pizza buffet is kind of like Pizza Hut, Domino's tier, or do you think like a place that has
Mountain
pizza?
Mike's has a pizza buffet lunch? I don't.
Okay.
Here's the thing, and I know people that watch this regularly can see that my face is getting fatter. I'm like, I used to be 223 pounds. I'm very subconscious about my weight. So I try not to. I haven't been to a pizza buffet in probably 2 decades because I eat a lot, especially if I could be like, make me this. I want to try this. Make me this. So yeah, I haven't been to one in a while, but Mountain Mike's has one, and I assume that if I went there, I would eat like a maniac. So I have nothing against pizza buffets. It's just the quality, the sauce and the cheese and the crust that are used at places like Domino's and Pizza Hut, I just don't taste good for me. And so I'm snobby. I admit it. And it's more joking. I'm just bullshitting with you. Whatever pizza you want to eat is friggin' awesome, dude. Eat it if you like it.
Of course.
But it's hilarious, the jokes we get out of it.
Oh, for sure. But no, I mean, man, you can. When I tasted that pizza that I made at work, of course it's pizza. It's pizza, like especially when it's fresh. But that crust, man, it's just seeing it come out of the cardboard. I could actually taste it.
Yes, I hate it so much.
So before we go on another tangent, what's number 2 on your list?
2. Okay, this has been my favorite pizza place for as long as I can remember. I've been going there decades. It only recently got topped a couple of months ago, maybe not even a couple, like just over a month ago. Popolo's Pizza. I only know of one. It's not a franchise. I had a bunch of people who I went to high school with that went there, but that's not why I started going there. We just found it was incredible. It's just the crust there is incredible. Popolo's Pizza is where is that located at now? It's like Palm and Herndon. For people that are listening, they're in the Fresno area, which is weird because almost all of our people are from Texas, but whatever. I could just eat straight pepperoni. I'm not picky. I'll eat whatever on a pizza. I don't, only pineapple for certain applications, but even pineapple is like, okay, is it like a barbecue sauce? Is it with something with pork? Something like that. You could put it on there. But at Popolo's, you can give me I like their meatball as well, but the straight pepperoni, it's like a thicker crust than I get anywhere else. It's really good. It's clearly handmade. It's fantastic. I follow them on Instagram too. So if you go to @CDPiglet, I ain't got a ton of followers. It ain't like Twitter. So you could see them on there and you can get a look at some of their stuff if you go on my who I follow list. And they're amazing.
So when you're going to a pizza place, are you more of a crust guy or sauce guy? What is it that makes the pizza for you?
All of it. But I would say it goes crust, sauce, toppings for me.
Okay.
Like most of the ones that I really like, it's like, okay, this crust isn't bad at least. And then it's like, okay, the sauce has some flavor. It just doesn't taste like ragu. It adds some spice or some sweetness, And then cheese, just don't be packaged cheese, shred your cheese there.
What's crazy about a Mama's Pizza, dude? Because I do food delivery on the weekends and stuff, but I could be like absolutely full to the brim, and if I pick up a Mama's Pizza and I smell like the cheese and the garlic from the crust and the sauce, I immediately can like start drooling and get hungry again for Mama's Pizza though, not like for other food, but just for a Mama's Pizza.
It's crazy. I would be that way with the top two. I mean, I literally with number one, I literally almost did that. Like I went and ate at a place right next door to this place that me and my friend went to a week later after going and getting this pizza. And it was like when I was leaving, I was like, damn, dude, I just want to walk over there and get this pizza. It was like, it's that good.
I've noticed I thought that she would have some more. I mean, I guess because you didn't put your homemade pizzas on there, that's why. But I thought she'd have some more creative like toppings. I guess
Coming
number
up.
one's going to be it. All right, is it me for number one or you?
Me, right? I think it goes 2-1 for me, and then you finish it off.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ernesto's Pizzeria. It's amazing. It's from this really fancy place, NX Kitchen. It was on Food Network and everything for their corn agnolotti. They use Fresno State corn. They got really popular after going on Food Network. Their food's amazing, and they decided we're going to make an upscale pizza place. And they made this pizza place, and I went there with my friend once before, and then I took a young lady there, and they had this Fresno State corn pizza, and it was two different types of white cheeses. I think it had ricotta and mozzarella. There might have been fontina in there as well, and then it had the corn that was off the cob and put on there, and then like a chili oil, and that was basically it. And it was like, I am a nonviolent person, and I definitely would not ever hit a woman. But if it came down to one piece, I might have punched my date in the face to get the last piece of pizza. That's how good it was. I'd have been like, eat the ice cream, bitch. Bam, and took that last piece. It was that good. It was unbelievable.
So it almost sounds like an elote-esque type pizza.
Yes, close. Shout out to Dab Tacos with the elote fried barbecue corn.
Oh my god, dude.
Fresno State corn, dude. You just put Fresno State corn on stuff and it's magical. It's unbelievable. This Ernesto's Pizzeria, another one that is on my Instagram page, CD Piglet. Go on it, look under my followers, Ernesto's Pizzeria, and look at some of the pictures and look at the Fresno State corn picture. Incredible.
All right, Mike, here we are, number one on my plate on my list, and this place holds a special place in my heart because this restaurant that I worked out. Shout out to my cousin Ryan Price. He worked there, and I got a job there. But this place really opened up my world to like what food is supposed to taste like, to what good food with like quality ingredients. It was they called it a casual dining, but I think it was more upscale than that. But it was like more traditional Italian food, like, you know, pastas, like a pappardelle ragu and things like that. And that's where I first tried risotto. That's where I first tried polenta. That's where I first had the focaccia bread, and that's where I had Taverna focaccia, like my favorite thing in the world. But they also had pizzas there, obviously. And number one on my list is going to be their Taverna's Gambaretti pizza. It's their thin crust, which is like they use the same dough and everything for the focaccia for their pizza crust, with shrimp, sun-dried tomatoes, and with a basil pesto sauce, dude. My goodness, bro.
Basil pesto sauce, I love. What I want to know is, where is this at?
Okay, so there was one downtown Fort Worth. Now the only one I know of is in Dallas, Texas.
Where is the shrimp coming from?
What do you mean?
The shrimp. Like, it's not like you're in San Francisco getting it right out of the bay. Where are they getting the shrimp from?
No, in this place, I'm sure they get it fresh every day.
Okay. Then I'm in. Sign me up. I'm down to try it.
I mean, I could tell a difference in like frozen shrimp and fresh shrimp, and this was always fresh.
Awesome. Then I'm in, because it does sound. I love the idea of shrimp with pesto. Yeah, sign me up for that. I might have to make something with that. That sounds good.
And the sun-dried tomatoes, man, offered a nice
pesto.
Yeah,
say
texture. The sun-dried tomatoes added a nice a bit of texture, you know what I mean, to complement the shrimp and everything.
When I make my cauliflower crust Monday, pizzas, Monday meatless, I always dice up sun-dried tomatoes at the end. I love it on pizza. So good.
So because of where you live, I mean, do you? I guess you're spoiled with seafood, but do you eat a lot of seafood?
No, because I'm in the valley. So there's
Mm.
like not water around here. They have to bring it brought in. So like I don't often eat seafood here at all unless I've bought it somewhere and cook it myself. I don't get much. I don't go out for seafood because I'm like, where are y'all getting it in Fresno? Like you getting it like, nah, I don't trust it. So no, I don't eat seafood here very often. I will get railroad camp shrimp from Tahoe Joe's though. That is fire.
So I assume you don't eat a lot of sushi. Are you a big sushi guy anywhere?
I won't lie, dude. I eat a lot of sushi. I even get the Winco place with the calzone. Mm-hmm. They do these like $5 sushi Wednesdays. You can see the people rolling it and everything there.
Yeah.
I eat a lot of sushi. What I try to avoid is the sushi that's topped by the raw fish. The rolls where like they have the crab and the stuff inside. Right. I eat those, but I don't eat much of the sashimi. I think it's called. I don't eat a lot of that because I'm like, nah, bro. I don't know where that's from. I don't want that.
I hear you. Well, Mike, I'm glad that we were able to finish this episode strong. I thought we were going to go under like 45 minutes, but here we are over an hour again.
I know it never fails. We got to the pizza part lasted as long as the friggin' Cowboys part.
Yeah.
And we promised that. We promised that going forward because you have no reason to watch. The Cowboys stuff is done. So now we're going to do 50-50 Cowboys food. So you guys keep listening.
And I've got some ideas to still talk about football, but not to be so depressed about it either. So
good luck with that.
All right, Mike, I enjoyed the discussion as always, sir. Before we get you out of here, remind the people they can find you on Twitter.
Letter C, letter D, Piglet. Nice and easy at CD Piglet, guys.
Guys, I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Don't eat Red Baron, y'all.